Hi everyone, wanted to do another quick video on why your wig may be tangling. There's a few reasons for why wigs may tangle. One, sometimes you just have a really long wig and it's gonna tangle a little bit, right? So some tangling is absolutely normal, so don't freak out. Now, the next thing to keep in mind is that most blonde wigs are pretty highly processed unless they came as a virgin hair color, and that's not very typical. So as your hair is just, rubbing against your shirt and just moving around throughout the day, those hairs are just gonna tangle a little bit. So you're gonna have to brush those out. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that certain textures, like this one, are very, very thin and more prone to some tangling. It's not excessive by any means, but a thinner hair is just going to tangle a little bit more than a thicker hair. That's why thicker hairs tend to not necessarily hold a curl as well, additionally. So your thinner hairs are incredibly soft, but you're going to have the con of a little bit more tangling. So that's another, good reason for why not all origins of hair are created equal. There's pros and cons for all of them. So just like the thicker hair doesn't hold curl as well, but wow, you can get a really great sleek look with them and they don't tend to tangle as much. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, the other reasons that your hair may be tangling is, well, it just might be a little bit dry. As we're, wearing these wigs, you're out and about just doing all of your normal things. You have to remember that your hair, because it's a wig, even though it's real, isn't getting natural moisture from really your scalp like your bio hair would. So you're gonna have to add some moisture to that wig to help it from tangling, but you wanna do that carefully. You don't wanna oversaturate your hair. More is not better. For tingling. And then there's other tips and things you can do to try and minimize the amount of tangling for your wig. But those are a couple of the common reasons why your wig may be tangling. Now, what do you do about these things? How do you stop tangling from happening? Well, one, I'm gonna say that you're never gonna get rid of 100% of tangling, okay? So just have realistic expectations for your hair. And what I also say is a common myth is that short hair doesn't tangle. It does. It just tangles a little bit differently and not as the same as a long wig does, but you can still get a cute little bob and get little tangles. They're just gonna be in usually a little bit of a different spot and, well, shorter because the hair is shorter. So what can you do about tangles? One, well, you can keep it appropriately brushed out. So start from the ends, brush those tangles out. You can make sure that your hair is appropriately conditioned. So again, don't overuse products, but make sure that you are moisturizing your hairs, whether that's a little bit of oil or a little bit of a leave-in protectant or conditioner. Those will work wonders. And then the last thing that is a little bit more of a secret is actually a steamer for your hair. Now, I'll do a separate video at some point on that, but you can actually use a steamer, so like a garment steamer, to help kind of recondition your hair. So that's something that you don't hear very often, but is certainly really useful to help make sure that your hair keeps looking great just day to day. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. I have been wearing wigs and human hair wigs for well over 20 years. So again, I've pretty much, seen them all, worn them all, and happy to answer any of the questions that you may have. I always like to say there are no dumb questions. So don't be shy, ask away.